Mark, his crazy thing that he believes is about to happen here this first month of the college football season is that you have Auburn heading to Athens, Georgia for an undefeated showdown. Now, is that college game day? Remains to be seen if they're both undefeated. But like you look at both schedules here, I think Georgia actually has the tougher lead up here to being undefeated than Auburn. Now, we'll give you our record prediction game by game for Georgia here a little bit later in the show. But just to give you a taste here, Clemson, at Kentucky, at Alabama, you sprinkle in some Tennessee Tech in there as well. But like those are all, I think, going to be pretty solid tests for Georgia. Clemson remains to be seen. I say test in the sense of what their roster talent level is. At Kentucky, it's a tough place to play. Kentucky's given Georgia issues before. Going to Bama, all bets are off. For Auburn, man, their path forward, you got Alabama A&M to start. You got Cal. You got New Mexico, not New Mexico State now, just New Mexico. Arkansas, and then Oklahoma. The big headline here, if you're an Auburn fan, all those games are at the crib. And we know this, man. You play at Jordan-Hare, weird things happen there. Auburn is a different team there. And so to get that lead up at home, to get that kind of difficulty lead up even to the way it ramps up from A&M to Cal, Alabama A&M to Cal, New Mexico, having Arkansas to kind of get the feet wet, and then play Oklahoma, I think this lines up perfectly. Like, y'all, I think this is going to happen. Auburn Tiger fans, make sure you're locked in right here. Make sure you're subscribed to the On3 YouTube channel. We have a ton to talk about with a massive year 2 for Hugh Freeze on deck. It's going to be an exciting season. Want y'all a part of it. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss a minute of the content we have for you right here on this show, The Hard Count. We appreciate y'all in advance for being locked in. Not just because I think Georgia's going to start undefeated, as much as they have a more difficult gauntlet than Auburn does. I think Auburn's going to start undefeated. I really do. And I think the key thing here for us to all keep an eye on as this season unfolds, the early part of it, you got to get Peyton Thorne comfortable. Get him comfortable. Build his confidence, build his belief. Whatever he feels good about in the game plan, we do more of that. Okay? We lean on that. Also, when it comes to Peyton Thorne's confidence, I'd love to see it be, for the most part, as a passer. Because I'll be real, like, we know this dude can run the football. We saw it against Georgia last year in a very real way. I thought he flashed and was the difference maker in that game. He was why Auburn was as close as they were in that game with what he did with his legs. I want to save that for Georgia. Yes, because of what you see on tape, that's one part of it. Also, just physically, I want him to be as fresh as possible heading into that game and be as confident as possible in what he can do throwing the football downfield with all these weapons. So you have that lead up I mentioned. Alabama A&M, Cal. You have, I just mentioned it where I lose. Okay, New Mexico, Arkansas. That lead up to Oklahoma. By the game against Oklahoma at Auburn, I hope this one's a night game for Auburn's sake. This is the game where you got to have everything firing on all cylinders. Like, this is, for all intents and purposes, a statement game. And then also, if you want to go and beat Georgia, this is your dress rehearsal. Like, everyone's got to, like, we got to play like a team that's ready to go play the number one team in America, which Georgia will be at that point in time, I believe. Would love to see Peyton Thorne just distribute the football in that big moment. But again, I'll tell you, Oklahoma, man, this is one they have circled. This is one that I think is winnable. It's one I think they will win as we sit here in August. Auburn's poised for this. With Hugh Freeze calling the shots, with what they now have on that roster, with the skill players they have, with the defense now, I think structurally even being more sound with DJ Durkin as the DC, they're built for this. And so I think we're going to get that matchup the 5th of October where they play Georgia in Athens undefeated. And it's going to be a lot of fun, man. I can't wait for that one. Hey, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.